Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Diane Brownstein, the editor-in-chief here at Soap Hub, and we are so happy to have you here celebrating your career, your big birthday, correct?
Yes, we have a
Yes.
big birthday that just came and went, I'm still waiting for my gift basket of goodies, I think that, it's going to be huge. So.
Well, awesome. Michael Maloney is going to take it from here. I want everyone
Wonderful.
want to ask, Michael's going to be doing the first part of the Zoom with asking Greg questions, but if you have your own question, there is if you go to reactions at the bottom of your screen and click it, you'll see raise hand, and that'll get you in the queue to asking a question. And I am going to go away.
Wait, no, Diane, don't. You're here. You're going to be with us.
I'm here, but I'm just
going
to be spotlighted because nobody needs to see me.
Michael. Can you beforehand, before Michael and I start chatting up a storm, where is it say participants? Is that what it is? I don't know what wait.
We're not going to make you produce this.
I know. I just saw something pop up. Somebody said hi or something.
Oh, the chat. Yes, you can check that out.
Okay. Yeah, this is, I've done meetings on this. Oh, I see. Well, there's a lot of camera. Okay.
By the way,
okay.
I wanted to say one thing, and that is that when I worked at Dick Clark Productions, I met you at one of the Daytime Emmy shows, and it was there, and I had picked you from General Hospital to introduce the clip, and you did a fantastic job, and thank you.
Thank you
for coming here. I just wanted to say
I love just being in our just this world and just giving back to where it has given me so much. Thank you for all your support, Diane. I appreciate it.
Greg, how are you?
Hey, Michael, how are you, sir? Great to see your face.
Very well. Thanks for joining us tonight.
And thank you for having me.
I like your glasses. It's like we're twins.
It's an age thing. And you know what? I found my doppelganger. So thank you for,
Yes, thank you. It was nice to hear what you said about Daytime and how it's been so good to you, because I was reviewing your resume and your IMDb page, and I also know this from just knowing it, but you were working regularly before you came to Daytime in your first role on The Young and the Restless. And now there's more fluidity with people kind of coming and going from genres. But I think maybe that wasn't always the case in terms of how the industry looked upon it. Do you recall any decisions that went into joining Y&R, which at the time and still now is, number one? And it was on fire.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of decisions to be made, and at an early time in my career, when I first moved to LA, I was very focused. I had my goals, my vision board of what I wanted to achieve, what I wanted to, put on the table, because in preparing and building a future, I was very singular thinking. And for that matter, I was just focused on prime time, and I was very fortunate to be in a position after a year of studying, after moving to LA, and I met Aaron Spelling, and I booked Malibu Shores, which was on NBC at the time. We did 9 episodes, and there's been it was like a platform for so many actors that were coming. Kerry Russell, who's done phenomenal. So proud of her. She started as Mickey Mouse Club. Tony Luca was a part of that. He was a musician still currently, and great music that he does. I'm a big fan of his. Charisma Carpenter, who went off to Buffy, and she, myself, and Susan Ward, we all went to Vegas. We had a break from Malibu Shores after starting our production, and we went to Vegas, and we're having a great time, as we do in Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But Charisma, so professional woman that she is, and still one of my dearest, closest friends. She was up there reading the script that she would not disclose at the time or tell us that she was looking for new projects, possibly potentially if our show wasn't going to be picked up. And she did. She landed Buffy, and I think she went on to an Angel. God, Randy Spelling was a part of it. Christian Campbell. God, so many. Forgive me for my brain just closing out. That's the age that I'm at.
No. Let me ask you this. Had you met Mr. Spelling a couple of times?
Many times.
At the audition process or at parties? What was the man like?
Incredible man. He actually is a born and raised Texas, Dallas born. Incredible man. His story is too long to go into, but I've had the great fortune to be in his room in the presence of him and his associates and team. And he really I was 21 at the time on my 22nd birthday, and he pulled me aside and he said, "You're here for a reason, and I see all the greatness that's going to come from you. And just, I want you to show today what you've got and why you're here. There is a reason. So don't question, just give us everything you've got." And it was a very memorable moment. I'm very grateful. And he called my mom, happened to be on Christmas Day. I had already come back home, and my mom got the phone call, and she said, "Greg, you got a phone call." And I said, "Well, who is it?" And she said, "It's Aaron Spelling." And I was like, what a great, just my mom just to receive that, and knowing that she was all the reason why that I pursued my dream, that she knew that I had longed for. So.
Wow, what an amazing, entry into the business where, you're working with such a legend. He was being honored at an award show
Really?
with a lot of soap opera people there. And every time they cut to him, he was turning to his wife, and he'd see a presenter and he'd say, "Oh, let's hire that person. Let's hire that person." I mean, the man was very smart to tap into a lot of daytime talent. It was a little bit of a reverse with you because you started with him. Tell me about what it was about the role of Diego on Young and Restless that appealed to you.
Well, I had just finished season 2 of Charmed, and that was on the CW at the time, or the WB. No, it was Warner Brothers Network before it became the CW, and It was Shannon Doherty and Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs, and Brian Krause, Dorian Gregory, and I became a part of the ensemble. And that Aaron Spelling, once I had become a part of Malibu Shores and we didn't move forward, they were in a transition at the time. Aaron called me in, and we had a good lunch meeting, and his staff and opportunities that were coming about, and he just wanted to keep me in the family. And so when I had jumped many shows from that point, and then which led into, from Love Boat to 90210 and the original, let's clarify, the original 90210. And so from there, which led me finishing my Charmed at the end of season 2, I conjured up a deal with the Warner Brothers Network to be a part of their family. So I became a contractual player on the network, and I got to pick and choose a lot of material that was coming out that they were producing, and they asked me to be a part of it if I would take a read and look. So I was kind of what we used to call a holding deal. And so with great fortune, I was just so blessed to have that opportunity. And Young and the Restless came through the grapevine, and Marnie Saida, who is actually our Days of Our Lives casting director, she reached out to my team, and she said, "Please, we want you to come in for this opportunity." And I said, that's my grandmother's favorite show, and I'm going to do this. And you have to understand, as an actor, as a working non-working actor ebb and flow, you want to capitalize on opportunity and work, because the competition is just so deep. And I never would shy away from saying, I'm very competitive by nature. So I was just like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to audition for this. And if something good comes out of it, let it happen. And when I had read opposite of Heather Tom, I read first, and then they brought me in for a screen test, and I met with Sharon Case, and I was just like, this is different from what I have been doing the last 8 years. And within that time frame, when that Y&R, I was like, wow, y'all work every day, 9 to 5, 250 shows a year round, 50 weeks, which we did at that time. What an incredible opportunity. And I said, you know what? I really want to give this, because I never say no to work, but I never say no to new experiences. And it was a different method of work. It was 4 cameras versus a single steady cam. So I knew that I'd be challenged, if you will. And so with that being said, I just jumped at it, and then I ended up getting the role, and I was tickled pink, and I just jumped at it. And, it wasn't as long as I'd hoped, because I had incredible friends. And the only request that I had once I got the job was, I told my grandmother, and she was so pleasantly beyond happy. And I just captured that. And she said, you're on my favorite show. I just want you to know. And I'm like, I know you got your stories, CBS fan. And, but she said, I do have one request. I just want Shamar Moore's autograph. Can you get that for me? That was her only thing. And I said, for you, I will do it, because I've known him through my early years of modeling, and had, worked with him quite a bit. So I was like, this is about your grandson getting on your favorite show. And she's like, I know we touched on that, but really my eye candy is Shamar. Okay. So remember that.
Well, your grandmother has great tastes in soap operas, favorite actors, and grandsons.
Yeah. Well,
I remember when you left, and sometimes I will do an exit interview with an actor, and then within a year or 2 or 7 months, do an entrance interview when they go to another show. But for you, I believe the moving over to Port Charles to play Lucky on General Hospital, that was kind of instantaneous. Like, there was some overlap.
Yes, there was. There very much was. So I was notified that coincidentally, it happened to fall, which was on the Young and Restless Christmas party back in 2000, into 2002, going into 2003. And I was notified that our storyline was wrapping up, but I would finish in the new year. It was devastating. Obviously, you take it personally. Is it about me? Is it my work? Is it not fitting? And they said, no, it's just, we've been doing this. Because actually at the time I was the second Diego Gutierrez. And so I came in to be a recast. And when I came in, I took it and kind of created my own little character of what I felt, because I wanted it to be different. And I have no Latin, Hispanic bloodline in my body, unfortunately. I'm Greek, Indian, American Indian. So I was just doing the best that I could. And I did it and had a wonderful time. And in doing that, my final 3 days at Young and the Restless were in the new year of January. And my first day in, I got a call from my team, and they said, hey, we have a call request that came in to come in. You'll go straight to screen test for General Hospital, and it's on Monday. And I'm like, but I'm working today and tomorrow, Wednesday. Can we push it? And they were like, no, you got to do it Monday. I was like, wow. So I was preparing to exit, and then I was auditioning for an opportunity to get a new job, if you will, and not just a role, but work. And this is at a time that I was like, I'm in it. And it was like, do I want to stay in this genre, this medium? And I was like, you know what? stick to your guns, believe what you've always stood by, and that's work is work. And I went in, I screen tested that late afternoon on a Monday, and I got the call on Wednesday, my last day, as soon as I was wrapping, that I had been cast for Lucky Spencer. And that's what took me over. So I got 2 weeks off, and my cousin and I, we went skiing because I had time off, and I went right back to work. So I just, sometimes what they always say, I think we've all heard it, when one door closes, another one opens. And in that situation, I just put my prayers up and just say, hey, thank you. Thank you.
Josh Taylor at Days said, a door closes, a window opens, but the hallways can be a real bitch. And
I love that, Josh.
I'm glad it was a short hallway. And I remember you confirming to me in the CBS commissary, probably with just a smile, but there was a lot of buzz. Yeah. And that was a nice feather in my cap that I could pass that news along. A very different world that we're in now with social media.
You did pass that news along. I do remember that conversation.
You did. I hope you didn't get in trouble because they're probably guidelines, but.
Yeah, because I said I'm leaving, but I'm going from one to another.
Yeah, and I just, believe me, in the day before people would announce things on Instagram.
Yes.
Having the trust of folks like you giving me scoops was, it kept me employed. So I appreciate that.
And we appreciate you.
You got to work with, among other people, Jeannie Francis.
Yes,
when she came back for a limited run that ended up winning her an overdue, well-deserved Daytime Emmy. And of all the people you worked with, I'm going to ask you about her. What was it like working with Jeannie Francis?
I was tickled pink because I had only been working with Tony Geary, who is the GOAT. He is the man in my eyes. I was very fortunate to have been under his tutelage and kind of just listening, watching, and working side by side with him for, I think, a couple of years at that point before Jeannie had returned. And in doing so, she didn't know who I was. And I just had to break, hey, I am your son, kind of in a roundabout way. And I'm playing Lucky Spencer. And they were like, wow, you've changed they've grown you up. And it was quite a difference between Jonathan Jackson and Jacob Young. And I was really kind of nurtured into my role at that time. So I was very excited just to have the both of them, these two iconic individuals, these figures of what has been the foundation of television in our world of soap operas. And she came back and she was in her story bit, and we had small conversations. She was very focused, but she was very pleasant and caring and excited. And she had a short run, and then eventually, which obviously brought her back. But I was at one of the biggest things that I did with the Luke and Laura period, reflecting back to the early 80s, which we were all excited about when they remarried. We went to Griffith Park, and it was the whole cast, and it was a beautiful environment. It was a high production. I felt like I was back on prime time, the way they put the amount of time and the effort and the energy from the crew, and just the story of just reuniting them and being a part of that. And we had a lot of fun and a lot of dear memories.
That was a very powerful time on the show with her return. And I'm glad it led to more of that. I might embarrass you a little bit here, but when Tony Geary came into the press room one year for winning another lead actor Emmy, he was asked about all the different actors who played his children. And he wryly said about Lucky, he said, they get progressively better looking.
Yeah. I said hair and makeup, wardrobe. I said, I'm just fortunate to have the opportunity to be this character, and put my spin on it, my touch. And so Tony is one of a kind, one of my greatest mentors, and love him dearly. And I think of him often.
You got to go to a lot of dark places with Lucky.
I did.
And what were some of your memorable challenges there?
Well, it was early on, and I think they were testing the waters to see where they wanted to take the character. Originally, the executive producer at the time, they reconformed me, and my look is obviously I'm dark, dark hair, and that's how I came into the role. And they were like, "How do you feel about bleaching your hair, blonde, putting more blonde in it?" And I wasn't so gung ho because I wanted to have my own spin on the character, but I understood it, so I did it. And I was young at the time, and so I did it, and to kind of make it believable, if you will.
Sure.
But because I really wanted it to be about the craft and the work that I was doing more so than the visual factor. Not that any of us all look alike. But anyway, as it grew, the character had highs and lows, and trying to have this reconnection with Rebecca Herbst, Elizabeth, and she was my significant other, and most incredible co-star. And they reconnected. They wanted to take that journey, and along the lines, then the character, it got really into a dark space, and that became the drug storyline, which was the first time that I was called to the head writer's room about the story. And I had been on the show a few years at that time, so I was eagerly awaiting, and I was patiently waiting, because I was very happy to be a part of this ensemble, in which I'm still a fan and always will be a fan. I have the most formidable years of my career in daytime television, but I think that it came at such a very monumentous moment for me to be better and work harder, and at the speed that they were doing things. But the way they did it was much different than I was used to. So I just kind of took it as like a learning opportunity. It was my early tutelage, if you will. And in doing so, I learned and watched and got better, and they gave me a storyline, and I jumped at the bit. And I took a very dark path, and I'm glad that I did that before I became a father. But it was a place that I really went into, and a lot of restless, sleepless nights, really a lot of strong convictions and choices that I was making to portray a darker character than they had known, or what I felt that I should bring emotionally and more physically domineering. So that was a great time, great time. And I think that was around 2000 into 08.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
You mentioned being a dad, and I did a little research, because I don't know how this is, but grown-ups, after a certain point, we stay the same age, but children have this habit of like sprouting up. And I've got these erroneous ages of 8, 6, and 4 on your sons, Jathan, Caven, and Lyndon. And then I went to your...
Can we go back to those times? I'm glad they are where they're at, but 8, 6, and 4. Wow.
I then went to your Instagram and saw that your oldest son appears to be a little bit taller. How would you say?
He's taller than me. He's 6'1". He's 6'1", a junior in high school, 16 driving.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've got 2 in middle school now. And they're all, I mean, they're sprouting, as we all know as parents. It's just they're a measuring stick into my life and to how fast time goes. And so I'm very fortunate to be a part of that journey.
It's very nice to see the photos on Instagram, because it allows people who enjoy following your career and learning about you just to get little snapshots into this great life you have with your boys. Do any of them show any aspirations to want to get into show business?
What early years they did, when a lot of the YouTubing began, they wanted to be these, fashion, I don't even know, these influencers, if you will. And they've been fortunate to have meet those type of people in their lives and receive birthday wishes and videos and FaceTime calls. I know a lot of people in that realm, and so I like to make those moments come true for them. You know, and being in the platform that I am and having the relationships that I've been able to make. But I encourage them, and a lot of people that ask me about how do I do this, how do I get my son or daughter involved in this. I'm all about be a kid. You got this small window in your life to see your children be a child. They have the rest of their life to be an adult. And I tell them, I'd rather you not work and not get pushed into a realm that demands such a high amount of stress, but work. And I love kids being kids. You have it once, and that's what I do every day. I'm like, I want everything to be in your life fun. And that's what I live and breathe by. And I'm just like, go to high school. I'll help you accelerate in anything that I can do that I may not have the privilege of having. But for my kids, they're first and foremost the only thing that I think about in what I do is for them. So, because they grow up so fast, as we know. And so for me, to each is their own, but I travel back and forth for work. I provide what I can. And there's sometimes, I have to be the bearer of bad news and just like, hey, you broke your phone. This is not the first time, it's the second time or the third time. And it's just like, money ain't growing on trees, I know you get a little bit things that I feel, you're privileged, but don't take advantage of it. You're gonna work for your money. Dollars are, you're gonna learn the value of a dollar. That's how I grew up. Nothing was given to me. I had to earn it. So I just, this is my number one job. They are the first and the first most thing, the only thing that I think about, and trying to be a present father when I am at work. And I do travel. For a lot of those that don't know, it's living in Texas, and traveling to and from California. I've been, COVID changed in a lot of ways, many things, but it allowed me the ability to be in an environment in which I felt they could thrive. And for that, I'm grateful. They are abundantly loved, but they're around their family and new friends and cultivating great opportunities.
I haven't lost audio. I just think that's really amazing. And that's what I want to say about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Tell me how you came to Days. I think it was about 11 years ago.
Oh, don't age me up.
Yeah.
God. It's like we have a chart. Let's see. Originally, my youngest is now 11 in 6th grade. And I had been called from Marnie, who is the godmother of my eldest son. And she called me and she said, I'm at Days and I want to bring you to Days. And I said, this is not the time for me. Not there. I was very fortunate to be doing a lot of guest stars, episodic, recurring roles and movies with Hallmark. And I just felt I wasn't quite ready to, return to that realm.
Sure.
Leaving General Hospital was probably the hardest exit that I've ever had to make. For many that don't know, I was taken off contract because Jonathan wanted to return. And it was just kind of like they felt that it was in the best interest of the show and for their future. And it was shocking. I was kind of a deer in headlights when I got that call. And, I had a lot of personal things going on in my life. my second child was not born yet, but he was on the way, and it was very bad news. So, and then we hit a whole nother level of the bubble popped. So it impacted my family, there was some family tragedy, loss. And you just kind of, life is not easy. It's not a straight and narrow path. It is a windy, bumpy, grindy road, and you got to learn how to be resilient and how to become like the person you're going to become. And I had to buckle up, and at the time that days came in, I was very standoffish because I didn't want to get comfortable again. I wanted to be uncomfortable but it got to a place that when my third child was coming into this world that I stopped, and they said, Marnie called again and said, I have a role, and it had value. And it had the same thing that General Hospital had provided me in the character of Lucky, which was Eric Brady. And I had relationships on the show without being involved in the show. And I took that, I said, this is going back 10 years. I went back and I just said, stick to your roots, man. Stick to what you know, stick to what you believe, and work is work. Providing is providing. Be the man that you need to be and that you're expected to be. And I kind of stepped up to it, and I just said, I'll do it, but I want a screen test. I don't want it. And I did, and I worked with Ari Zucker, who has been a long, dear friend of my life. And it was going to be working with her. And I jumped at it. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's just see what we can do, because we only know each other out of work and personal life, not professional life. And I felt comfortable with her, and it translated on the camera when they tested. So it was immediately, let's go, not knowing what the character was doing, which was Eric Brady became a priest. So that was a bit shocking. It was a bit challenging. It was different. I am Christian. And so going into a realm of playing a priest was very difficult, but it was also a challenge. So I took it as that. But I also had a lot of great people in my life from the Christian, spiritual Christian world that were ministers, priests, and that I spoke to and did my work to be prepared to recite scripture and verses, but I remember my early childhood and through my life, of just people who were very impressionable on me, and that I knew that I could reach out to, that could help me get into and create a character.
I believe Jack A's character recently, Paulina, referred to Eric as, I don't know if you heard this, and I'm trying to time these for when you take a drink so I can get a spit take. But,
well, thank you.
Sure. Hey, anything for you. She referred to
father
Eric,
of three, single father of three. So,
father, what a waste. I don't know if you heard that remark.
No, I did not.
Yes, it's traditional, going back to, I guess, the Thornbirds, when very attractive men are cast as priests, and they're just, it's that whole you can't thing. I will say that I've watched scenes with you and Ari, breakup scenes in particular between Nicole and Eric, and they're almost kind of painful to watch, because there's such a profound sense of loss. I think you guys were both recently nominated for similar scenes where you it was breakup scenes, and they were just incredibly powerful. What is it about where I feel that Eric and Nicole are each other's, as we say in fiction, OTP, one true pairing? Others will come in and out with success, but there's always that lingering, I hope they get back to, say, these two.
Yeah, I think the history had such a great foundation, very much like Lucky and Elizabeth on General Hospital. I mean, but it's when there's new faces, new individuals that are taking over a role, you're trying to create something that's different, that can be perceived and respected and embraced. And Ari and I, we love our work. She and I, because our friendship is so deep as people, like she is somebody I've known since I knew when she was cast as Nicole, I had already known her. And so I had, having friendship is one thing, but when you work together, there becomes creative opportunities. There's differences there. We stand on what we believe and what we've been taught and what we've worked to. And she already had, 15 years at that time, by the time I joined the show. And so I kind of just embraced the opportunity and just kind of allowed it to evolve. I really, when we're together, we don't really even spend a lot of time talking about it. We spend more time laughing about what we're doing and trying to make it as organic and present as we can. And we have different work ethics, obviously. We're both parents, and so we have families. Not that many others don't, but we just take it to a different level. We have a great sense of trust and respect about the choices we made. It's like we don't really have to spend time preparing anymore, but we established something very early on in my early beginning there, and we just let it go and cultivate and just blossom into something beautiful. And if the story is given to it, if it's written, it's like we are the actors. We are not the powers that be that write the story. We work hard to project what we want it to become or what we think it can become or be. But if the breakup stuff, those are heavy-hearted stuff, there is no shortage of emotion when it comes to either one of us. So you will always get the best, from that.
Yeah. If I want a good cry, I will call up those scenes and just watch two people that should be together, but once again aren't. We did have one attendee who wasn't able to attend tonight, actually.
Okay.
And she asked me if I could ask you a question. Her name is Karen, and Karen would like to know how you enjoyed working at Hallmark, and how does working on the Hallmark projects differ from working on soap operas?
Completely different. Daytime is a 9-to-5 job. Daytime is like you get your script a few days in advance of knowing what you're going to do. And you pretty much shoot this arc, which you kind of, it's a repeat and regurgitate kind of thing. It's like you just keep repeating a lot of the same stuff and story crossover, and it takes sometimes longer, and we get tired of doing the same bit after 6 months. Like, can we wrap it up, or can we move forward? Where are we going with something? Hallmark is completely family, and it's holiday celebration on many levels. Holiday, my first job, as I tested, just to clear the air so everybody knows, on Second Chances with Allison Sweeney. She and I've known Allison for many, many years. And when I tested in June, I had, in the same week, had received an opportunity to get this role. And I was like, oh, great. And then I was cast. So we were going into day one of like, how are we going to do this now that we are now twin? We're twins. We're like, this is going to be, we're fraternal twins. This is going to be interesting because when we start in August, everybody's going to see that movie in a few months. And so Hallmark, it was just, they had no idea they didn't know what I had coming down the pipeline. And so I just said, we're telling a story, and I want to tell the story the best way we know how to do it. And I want you to be you, and I'm going to bring everything I got, and let's make each other better. And we did it, and we laughed. We had so much fun. It was the most one-on-one time that we had ever had. And yeah, it was great. But Hallmark is a wonderful family environment. I did like 6 Hallmark movies.
Nice.
I loved it. I've met great people. And they're special. They're special people, and great things coming down the pipeline. And I've had meetings recently over the course of the last year, and trying to get back and make more. So
that's fantastic. I have so much else I want to bring up to you, but you know what? We have had a record turnout among attendees. So I would like to see if we could go to questions from our guests who are here. And I see we have Prusk. If you can unmute and ask your question, we'd love to hear it.
Hi, Greg. I've been watching Days way back. You've done a lot of things. I saw in online you were a young person, meaning teenager, young, and you were a heartthrob back then. But my question is, I love Days and everything else, of course, but what kept you to stay on Days of Our Lives? I don't want you to leave, but what keeps you there on the show?
Well, thank you so much. I've been a part of the show off and on. I have been relieved of my duties, and then I left personally by choice, and then I returned. So this is my third time under the show, under the direction of our team. And I always, different reasons, different time in my life and where I'm at and what I'm working on, trying to obtain. There's so much that I've loved and experienced in a primetime environment, which is nighttime television. I love film, and I love the TV world, and I love the character arcs and the journey in which they provide. My time since I've been back on Days has been plentiful, but it's also had its peaks and valleys, so I'm glad to be there. I've been home for the last 2.5 months, for many reasons. But I value it. I don't take it for granted. I have gained so much because I get to be home with my kids and starting school, all their sports. So there's many things, but I love my job, but it takes a lot. I do a lot of traveling. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm up and out. Got to catch a plane, get to LA, which the time change helps me quite a bit. But I do work all day, and then I'm there, as long as they need me for the week. But first and foremost, they know my kids come first, so I got to get home. So they work around me as much as I work around them, and I love doing what I do. I'm very fortunate and blessed to be in this realm, in this world, and I'll be there as long as I feel that it's fruitful.
Well, thank you, and keep on acting and having your kids, of course. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prusk. And next we have Cindy Lutch. If you could unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Hi,
that's great. 8 years ago, my son and I went to Barnes and Nobles in Massachusetts, and you were there with some of the cast members.
Yes, for a book tour.
Right. You signed a book, and I always remember that my son had the book, and it was going down a long road to get signed, and he lost it. So you put your hand on his shoulder and said, "We'll find it for you." I thought that was so nice, and I always remembered that. And he got it, and he's older now, so he's not, unfortunately, not watching Days of Our Lives, but he used to. But I
Yeah.
still watch it since for a long time ago. I
Well, thank
started way back, but I really enjoy you a lot. And are you going to go on any tours? Like
I
I'm in
am. We're coming to a lot of cities in the near future. We are. I'm going to have many different co-stars. It's kind of like a post celebration of my 50. It's been many years since I've been out on the road to reconnect and see fans and just kind of just say thank you. Thank you for all the love and the support over the many years. It's been incredible. And so we're coming to Boston. We're coming to Boston, which is great. At the Embassy Suites, I believe, on the September 30th and October 1st with my co-star Robert Scott Wilson. And then we'll be in Boston, which is his hometown. So very excited to come back there. I love Boston. And then I'm going up with Rob to Chicago and Heritage and to the Comedy Vault. So Comedy Vault in Vestavia in Illinois, and it's right outside of Chicago. And then I'll be up in Cleveland the following day at Heritage. And then Dan and we will be in New York, Long Island, Jersey, the end of October. I want to say the 29th and 30th of October, which will not only be a part of my birthday celebration, but his birthday. So we have exciting things coming and just getting out there, and we got many cities coming, and thanks to Coastal Entertainment and the Star Image just being a part of this whole journey, and just like, hey, there's a need and want and a desire for you to get out on the road and see people. So it's what better way to do that than come and give our appreciation and thank you for all the time in the years that people have enjoyed our work.
That's great. I just want to wish you a belated happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cindy. All the best to you. You be well.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, ma'am. Hey.
Hi. Maria.
Maria in the house.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
I love watching you on Days. I love watching your character evolve, your storyline evolve. So it's been really fun watching you. And my question has to do with your schedule. I know you touched a little bit about it already, but I was just wondering how Days works with you, because I know you live in Texas. And is your schedule? How different is it from from all the actors who are actually working closer in LA? So how do they change your schedule so that it works for you? And what are some of the challenges of traveling?
Yeah. Well, Maria, that's a great question. You know, I have to time management my life. It is not, I've just integrated myself. I make a lot of sacrifices, but it's for the greater good of my kids. So for me, for instance, I used to work when I first returned, I positioned myself to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only. My mother took ill during COVID. She had a stroke. So I now have my mother on my clock and watching her and my 3 boys and a dog that I was not prepared for, but I did, and then working. So in another state. So I'm trying to juggle that bit with teenage boys. And in doing so, it's a lot of communication, respecting time and doing what they got to do, being accountable. I put a lot on their plate for young men, and that's what I'm doing. I'm raising my boys to be men. Sorry.
Actually, I have 3 boys too. So I know what you're going through.
They know I got to work.
Yeah.
And we've changed. They born and raised in California. They were a little hesitant and coming to Texas, and they have immersed themselves in it and have only thrived. And to see that is the greatest thing that I've achieved. But work is work. I know what I live for and I know what I do. So my plan is I get up, I crack a dawn, you know, before the sun breaks, and I jump. I got my little tote bag and I get out there. I stay with my family friends who I've known for 10 plus years, who our kids played ball together. And, you know, I sleep on a couch. That's what I've been doing for a year. I don't ask for much. Cost of work and living and expense and traveling back and forth at my own expense of buying my plane tickets to get to and from. The sacrifices that I make are nothing, because I know there's other people in the world that have greater issues. So I have nothing, excuse my French, to bitch about. You know what? I'm alive and breathing and I'm working and I love it. And I don't take it for granted. And if I can see my kid and them thrive, then I'm doing it. So I have it takes a village, as we all know. I mean, I have the community in which I live, the school. I just have, I'm plentiful of gratitude, but it is challenging. I miss things. Unfortunately, I last year was difficult, missing my son play football, but you know, I mean, I get to screen it, to watch it, to all those things. But now being here, watching my son last night, you know, starting quarterback, just getting in and doing his thing. I was on cloud nine. And I got my youngest one, my middle one, you know, playing football this morning. We're out drinking coffee, watching him play, you know. So you adjust your life. And I made a choice to bring children into this world, and they're my first and foremost.
That's right. And I totally understand. I have 3 boys myself. So you love them from sun up till sundown, right?
Amen. You know what? It's just like I wake up thinking about, oh, I got to plan dinner. Oh God, what's for dinner? Do I have anything in the freezer? Oh my God, what do I got to cook tonight? Air fryer. There we go.
Thank you for answering my question. And
Yes.
And happy belated.
Thank you so much. You be safe. God bless you.
Sherry Griffin, thanks for
Hey.
joining us. And Greg, that was wonderful, by the way. Sherry, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Greg. I got just
Hey.
2 questions and I won't bug
Okay.
you no more. I promise.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. My question is, before you became a soap opera super sexy hunk, how do you feel about that? How do you feel being that?
That's just a label. It's a title. It's irrelevant. I mean, it's so flattered, but it doesn't impede upon who I am as a person. It doesn't make, people don't know me. People don't know what I've lived through. They don't know the path that I walk every day. They don't have the ones that know me are the closest to me that I share my everything with. So that is just a very, you know, in its own little world. I knew who I was when I was very young. I knew when I came in modeling what I was photogenic. But you know what? Anything physically, that is a God's gift, and that was given to me via my mom and dad. So my mom, she gets all the credit.
You know what? That's great. That's a great thing that you said about mothers, because you know what? Mothers will always be there for you, whether you're with them or not. You know, trust me, I know. I'm learning the hard way with my kids too.
Yeah.
You know, they live with me. They don't live with me. We still support them no matter what and stuff. I mean,
Yep.
they
They're
go
your
on
children
to,
for life.
you know, you have to do that and everything.
Yep.
I'm gonna.
God bless you, all your moms. I love you.
Yeah, this. Look at that.
Ah, look at that.
Okay, and then you see behind me right here.
I do in the back. There you go.
Yeah, I
Thank
got
you
it all.
for your love.
And right here, try the days of my life.
I'm just a part of the program. I you know what? I wasn't built. I did not create it. I just like to contribute to make it better. Make it better.
Yeah.
Tell our stories.
Yeah, but I've grown. We used to have 3 generations of soap opera. We also got a man involved with soap opera.
Well, there you go.
And
We
we
need
always
more men
say, where's
watching.
Sammy? I used to say, I was looking for you. My husband will be looking for Sammy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
we do
my
this
beard,
sneaky
every
trick.
time I grow my beard out, nobody wants to look at me.
Oh, that's
So,
okay. We love that hair.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's
Hey, I
what
got
I
it
feel
too.
most
It's
comfortable
still
in.
there,
There we go.
you know?
Well, Sherry, thank you
But
for
no,
your
you're-
call. Thank you for being with us tonight. I appreciate you. Be
Yeah,
safe. Take care of
thank
yourself.
you. And, you know, we love you.
Love you.
And God bless
Nicole.
you always.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Nicole.
Ah,
Ah,
you're
I
one
feel the
amazing
same.
person. Oh my gosh, with you and your boys, it just makes me feel like with my kids. I raised my kids since they were babies,
Yep.
all on my own. And you are like one of the nicest person. I always go to LA just to see you at Day's event for like the past
Thank you.
12 times. My aunt asked me to ask you a question. So
Oh,
do you watch the Days of Our Lives show on Peacock to follow along with the storyline, or do you keep up with it at all?
I do not keep up with it. You know what? It consumes so much of my day work, you know, and as you know, with your family, I get so consumed with other life obligations, you know. I mean, I got bills to pay. I got things that I do on my own. I don't have a team. I don't have somebody, you know, doing all these daily things for me. It's me and me only. It's me, myself, and I, you know. And so I got to check in with all of them, check the boxes. I got 3 different pairs of shoes to buy. I got 3 different phones to pay for. And you know, to one is,
Yeah.
I mean,
I got
it's
two
enough.
teenagers.
Yeah,
I got a 14
right.
and 15-year-old, and one's has a permit right now. So I'm like, oh,
I
wants
know.
to
I'm
drive
with
my
you,
car.
girl. I'm with you. I know. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I do. I watched the Peacock, the platform, and going in, I really have a fond appreciation for how the volume, the content, the library that they've created. I know they probably need to expand on that, but and over the course of the years, and I'm sure they'll keep getting better. But I really, when it first launched, I was excited because a lot of people were concerned because of our ability to have our longevity, being on NBC for an enormous amount of years, but then going into this new realm, streaming, which we all like circulated around during the COVID time. I felt, you know, and I can't take credit for it, but Daytime, you know, Days of Our Lives being the first daytime show to stream, which was difficult for a lot of people who are so familiar with the common channels. NBC, you know, it's a staple, but we all live in different parts of the country, the world. You know, a lot of our Canadian followers, it was difficult for them. Everybody struggled trying to adapt to get caught up, but I don't have to DVR anymore if I want to see something, or if I, you know, need to go back. And people like, not people, I shouldn't refer to anybody as people, but just my fans or my team, they're like, hey, your Emmys are coming up, you need to go back and watch the deal. I'm like, can you send me links? They were like, oh, just go on a Peacock and you can go watch your shows. You know, so it's great. So I find it to be wonderful. To each is their own. It's been, you know, it's a very fast-paced world, and where our world is going towards, and which leads me into a different direction of our strike and why we're fighting and standing up for you know, equal contribution. It's just, I hope that everybody out there who's streaming us, we appreciate it. I appreciate it because I love what I do, and you all give us the ability to tell a story and you know, bring into life characters that we deeply care about. But you know, without you, we wouldn't be anywhere. So thank you to everybody, and you know, we hope you keep watching.
Thank you. I'll see you in
Thank you.
November. Hopefully you have the Days event this year again.
Yes, ma'am. Wouldn't miss it. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Oh,
Tony.
Hi,
Now we
Greg.
have, so
How are you?
Tonai Beltray, is that it?
You know, I had to be here.
Well,
I just wanted to say, I was going to ask you something about Days, but then I said, forget it. If those boys turn out to be like you, they will be fine. They will be fine. They have a good example. And I just wanted to say you're still a heartthrob. You look great. You're still, and the only reason I stream is because of you, because I hate streaming. I'm too old.
Well, we got my mother turned over to it. She just watches her Peacock, and then she's like got her Roku's and stuff. She watches her stuff. So as mom's happy, the house is happy. So
There you go.
It's different. I mean, it's a challenge because that's why I'm thankful for my kids, because they help me if I'm like, I just want to find a football game. Okay. So where is it being streamed? I don't even know how to find it anymore. I don't have a guide. You remember how TV Guide, they were like, all right, shows today. My grandmother, she could always like, well, my Young and the Restless, my Bold and Beautiful, I got my series, I got my stories. I'm good, good.
Right. Well, you look great. It's great to see you. Glad you're still
Thank
on.
you, Tony.
And I love you.
Thank you. I love you, girl. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Always.
Thanks,
You
Michael.
be careful. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, Tony. You're the best. We have JCL Fee, and I probably said that wrong, but that's what I read.
That's okay. Good
Hi.
evening, everybody. How are you? Thanks for taking time
Hi,
to
how are
join
you?
us tonight. I'm good. I just want to, I'm probably the minority here, but I was introduced to you on Queen Sugar, and I loved that show. It was so thought-provoking and had a great stepping point to have those conversations. So thank you for that.
Yes, indeed. Amen to that.
My question is, it's not Days or anything related, but are you a Texas Longhorn fan?
Amen. Live and breathe it.
MIZ, baby.
I see it. Wearing it proudly, as you should.
I am. So welcome to the SEC. Are you excited for your Longhorns to join us?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I have a lot of, listen, I personally am a fan of sport. I love football. Obviously, I grew up doing it. My kids are all playing. I'm glad that University of Texas is making the transition, but I think it's greater for the good of the game. I know there's a lot of corporate, involved in this whole thing, and it's about money because of all the portals. I mean, I have a plethora of fathers whose sons are all in football and NIL and, and trying to build their brand. And it is, I do not succeed in that world of social media. I apologize. I do my best. I'm trying to be a teacher, and I'm trying to be a learner. I'm being a student of so many things, to be better in my household, to be a leader, a man in my house. So I just think the sport is awesome. I have great conversations with many of my buddies who are all supporters of the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or Big 12 or the SEC.
Well, the Pac-12 is no longer, I don't think. They have 4 teams.
Wow. Yeah, that's not
Can you
good.
believe that?
And yeah, that's sad. It's gonna be a super elite superpower of conferences. The young kids, they got so many options. Our varsity quarterback, he got a scholarship, and it's not to where I think he anticipated going, but it's an incredible school. And so it's a high academic, and I said academics last forever. Football is short.
It's finite.
Yeah, it's a short window. So be great, be thankful, and get an education, son. You got a lot to do in this world.
I will say this gives me pause. Our governor just signed a new law that NIL high school kids can now start reaping those rewards if they sign within the borders.
Yeah, wow. In high school?
Yes, if you sign a commitment to one of our in-state schools, you can start receiving those benefits. And
wow.
I have serious pause about that.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade. I'm old school. And so I think I just said to my boys, you have no idea what tough life is. I grew up in a trailer park. I grew up with nothing from a single mother, raising 2 boys with, counting pennies in a jar. It was just getting by to make ends meet, and so I didn't come from anything. And what I created is because of hard work and because I was given I was surrounded by great people. So I hope that it all comes down to your families and not being over greed. I see my middle son who have teammates who are getting pushed front and center because they are good athletes, not because they deserve the spot, but the spotlight, if you will. But they make a statement or request to be a certain position, and they kind of hurdle other people, which I don't think is appropriate, because we're missing about the game instead of in the fun of the game, instead about we got to win or we got to surrender. I think it's a team. It's we over me kind of thing, and it's so I attend a lot of school functions and PTA meetings, and that I am very deep. I got roots. I that's the greatest thing that I have valued since being home, that I'm so involved in my community, in my organizations, and where my kids are being taught by the greatest people, the men and women of our time, who are underpaid. As our communities grow, our population grows, our kids are getting bigger. Teachers, if there's anybody out there listening, I love you. Thank you. Because it isn't easy. And I help my kids as best I can, and it's, they're our generation, they're our future. They got to take over a country that has failed us in many ways. And I'm proud to be American, and I will raise my flag and be proud of it. But there's many issues that have happened that I don't applaud, and we need leadership, and hopefully we'll get to a better place.
I think maybe we're on the same page with that, but this is not the forum.
Of course it's not.
So thank you again for joining this time.
Thank you. Hey, good luck to Mizzou.
Hey, we will. We may need a quarterback.
I got a few.
Okay.
I just want to say, Greg, we appreciate so much of your time here. I think you might have a couple of people to feed for dinner soon. I'm not sure what time it is.
They're good. It's Friday.
Good? Are you
They're
good?
Friday. Michael, we can do it.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much. We've got a lot of people here. Hi, Loretta. We'd love to hear your question. Can you click on the unmute?
You got it, Miss Loretta.
You just gotta
hit that button. It's in the top right corner.
On the red microphone. Can't hear you.
Loretta, you got it, girl. We believe in you. Come on, you can get that button. It's difficult. I know. It's like my second or third time. So, top right corner. It's got a big slash over that camera, that microphone.
It's red.
If you want to put it in the chat, Loretta, you can also put your question there and
we'll read it.
We'll read it. Or keep trying.
Thank you, Miss Diane.
We can go to the next person and try to come back to Loretta in a moment.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Loretta.
Okay.
You got it. Get some help over there. Michael, I planned for tonight, so I told you, since you rescheduled for me, I'm in deadly.
You are a prince among men. I don't think we've done interviews over the years, but I'm just seeing all these wonderful sides to you that are just terrific, man. I can't wait for November myself.
Miss Hunter is on the line.
Mrs. Hunter.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't have a question. I just really want to say that I love you so much. And I do days on YouTube just so I can see your portion. But I'm a GH girl. So
okay. It's all right. It's in the family. It's good.
Yes. And although you and Liz was good together, my favorite was you and Sam.
Oh, Kelly Monaco and I love them both. I mean, they're both angels.
Yes.
We keep in touch. I do miss them dearly, because I don't see them on an everyday, environment. So, but they're tremendous. They're sweet, and I just love them. Love them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're good. But Kelly and I, we had some fun. We had fun. We just did different things that Becky and I, we didn't do, but we had history, and our characters had the history, and, trying to create, but recreate and create new which was fun. So we had some really memorable moments in my daytime world that really gave me the ability to become comfortable in this world.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you and Nicole, y'all fire, but still.
Fire.
Yes, y'all are.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, I'm a GH girl, so.
I know.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to work with some great leading ladies. I am grateful. And that's what I love. I just I don't like to get in the sandbox and build castles. I want to create, you know, something special.
No, and you do. You're great. You really are. I mean, we're talking about 3 leading ladies right there. So just,
amen.
I mean, you're amazing. So, but just want to say I love you.
Thank you. You be safe. God bless you.
You too. Thanks.
That was awesome. Marilyn, thanks for coming by. If you just,
we got to mute
the red microphone.
There she is.
There I am.
Yay, Marilyn.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Greg. I want you to know that first of all, I want to tell Tony that don't say we're old. We're not old.
We are not.
We are not old.
I haven't even hit my peak yet.
I'm in 75 this year. I have been watching Days since the very first show. So I have watched since I was 16 years old. And when I got out of school and stuff, I would, nowadays, I went back as an adult and watched the shows that I missed.
Yeah.
So I've seen just about every episode.
Well, all right.
The question I have for you is, how do you prepare yourself and how does your wife prepare them, her wives and husbands prepare themselves when actors do the love scenes? When you're practically naked in bed with another woman, how does that become a family matter?
You know what? It's not discussed. It's not a conversation that we break bread and plan about my day. It's not, you know, my kids don't ask. So they don't care. They don't care what I do. They're just grateful. They know, they just kind of do their thing. I'm about them. But when we all come together in a professional environment, you're amongst 10, 20, 30 people on set at a time. It also is very respectful to all those that are working, but are also creatively, where they're on a creative level. We do not cross borders, cross boundary lines. They go above and beyond to make sure everybody is safe. And we have a intimacy coach, if you will, that come in. Since we left the NBC and gone to Peacock, they have pushed the envelope a little bit more in the last year or two. Ms. Zucker and I, we had our first shower scene, and which was the most vulnerable I've ever had to put myself in this medium, because I've also been in a comfortable level on other levels, like Sugar. Queen Sugar, I had to do a full love scene out of the gate, in which I requested. I took it to the higher power, Miss Ava DuVernay, and I said, I don't feel if we're gonna make this relationship and sellable, we have to. This is our day one. We got to make it work. And it was differently scripted and in the subtext. And so I said, look, how do you feel, to my co-star? And she felt comfortable, it's Regina Wesley. And we took it to Ava, and then Ava accepted it. And we took it to Oprah, and she approved, and we had to sign off on a lot of legal formalities, and it only improved our relationship, but our bond, our connection, and made it, we care about what we invest in. And it's we're not here for a paycheck. We're not here to be a part because it's just Oprah and Ava, Paul Garns. I mean, we're talking about, we're creating a new realm of television, and we want to make it to a level that is a movie, for television. So even with Daytime, it goes across the same way. So we're comfortable. Everybody that's in the realm that understands it, we have conversations, what somebody is comfortable with. I mean, my first show my first episode on Young and the Restless, which was Sharon Case, and it was a lovemaking scene. I was uncomfortable. She was completely content. But I was just like performance wise, just like technically you got cameras, you got 3 cameras, you got 8 dudes huffing and puffing, you got lighting, gaffers, you got sound booms. It's not as beautiful when we're shooting it as it comes across on television.
Yeah, you do a really good job of making it look good anyway.
Well, that's what we're doing. We're acting.
That's right.
It is our
That's
profession.
what you are. You're actors.
There's a separation.
Right. Absolutely. And I want to tell you that I think I'm very proud that you are so involved in your son's lives. So many men these days are not. And it's so good to see a man that stands up and believes that their sons are going to be good men. And I really believe that from what I've seen, I follow you on Facebook, of course, and stuff. And
I am not on Facebook for anybody to
Twitter.
Let me clarify. I am not on Facebook. I have no interest because it is so beyond me. I do not, I mean, Instagram and Twitter, which Twitter is becoming obsolete. But and then the trends thing, I'm like, wait, another platform? Oh my God, what else is going wrong? But yes, I have fake people. I've had many fake accounts that people try to facilitate me, impersonate me, and message people, DM people that I do not DM because I very rarely, I social media because I want anybody out there who's listening to just know I care, and I'm happy in my moments, and what I share is a very small little bit into my life. I don't like to share too much, but I do like to share moments like this to connect with you and many others that are out there who support our genre, our realm, professionally, and embrace that we're all individual human beings in this world and trying to make an impact for the greater good. So it can be good.
I do thank you very much for being here and for being just you.
Thank you. That's the greatest compliment.
Yeah, I think Instagram is the best because a picture can tell 1,000 words, and
it
just seems to be the most.
Instagram. I've seen it work in different areas where the perception of what somebody shares is not what the person's going through. We all have our own personal battles, and what you see, you read, your stories or whatever, that is a facade to a lot of levels, and there is a lot of truth. So it can be worked in a positive. It can also be worked in a like self-gratification, but there's we've all suffered in different areas in our life. I've witnessed it. That is a false presentation of what it is for. It's a make sure that's being, I got to hit timelines at 9, at 12. I'm like, are we talking lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or are we talking like, that's what I think. Like, what are my kids eating? What practice is going on? Are my kids in school? What was their classes like? I don't think of like, I got to post. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to solicit. I'm here to talk about things that I feel passionate about. And that is, my family first, if I want to share it, which I protect them in every way I can. And then I also talk about my work, which I work very hard to be the best that I can at my craft, to only get better. And I'm very grateful. And those that anybody watches that enjoys what I do. So amazing. That's why we're here.
Lynette, I thought Greg had the best print behind him, and he still does, but yours is
you are too. I love it.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you, Greg?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you. From Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yes, Las Vegas. Yeah, I admire you very much as an actor. You're great. Calvin is my favorite. And my question is, yeah, because I can relate a lot because I'm a single mom to 3 daughters. So it's a little different, but I can relate a little bit.
It is very different.
Yes, and it is. I've heard, I'm sure that they eat more than my daughters do.
Yes.
And my question is, what is your favorite place that you have traveled with your sons?
Oh my God, that's a great one. You know what? I think travel is an incredible just experience culturally wise. The boy's mother is European. My boys have lived abroad during some difficult times. They lived abroad for the first time for my youngest for 1.5 years. My middle one did 1 year. My eldest did 7 weeks. They lived in Amsterdam. They went to Dubai. They went to Morocco. They've been to Croatia. They have been to London. They've been to Spain, to Ibiza, to Mexico, to Toronto. They've been all over to the Caribbean islands. They have seen a plethora of things. I feel, it's our duty as parents. I mean, I grew up in a suburb of Dallas in a very medium to lower class environment. And a lot of what I grew up in the middle America was just a white picket fence at a house and make a family. But my dreams were bigger, and which took me away from here to follow what I dreamed of when I saw Indiana Jones. I was like, I want to be Indiana. I'm going to be Jones. I'm going to be this kid. I want to be on the big screen. I'm going to watch Star Wars. There you go. Jaws. I want to be in. That was me. And my grandparents, my grandmother took me to the library all the time. And we always had to get books. We watched many Disney movies. Bedknobs and Broomsticks was one of my favorite childhood movies. Wizard of Oz, obviously. But I just grew up in front of a television screen watching movies. That was my summer. So my kids, I didn't have telephones because they were non-existent. I had a 5 and dime store, and I had one movie theater, to go to. So I was a big dreamer as a child. And I encourage every parent, every individual to inspire someone or yourself, or to go to a place to dream, because if we followed those dreams, the place would be so much better in the world. You would feel so much more gratification to do what you love, not what you have to do to make ends meet. We live in a world that works to live, not lives to work, or lives to work, but not works just to live, So forgive me if I mispronounced that or said it, but I have the greatest job of all, and I don't take it for granted. You are always dispensable, but if you fight hard, you work to be great, to be better at your job, and no matter what you do, you will shine. And so if I get 3 hours of sleep, then that's what I'll do to do it. But I commend every single parent, every mother that is doing what you're doing. And I thank you, and keep doing your job.
Thank
We're
you.
all doing it.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you the best. Be safe out there in Vegas. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey there.
Hi.
How you been?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Greg.
What's that?
So I said, nice to meet you, Greg.
It's nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Mississippi, Cleveland, Mississippi.
I love Mississippi. I've been up in Oxford. I've been all over. I've been down in Jackson. I love it. My mom loves to go down and gamble down there in Biloxi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd love you to come visit one day.
I'll do my best. If I can get there sooner than later, I'll do what I can.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So what was your favorite actress to work on General Hospital?
On General Hospital? Ooh, that's tough. There's never a favorite. They're all talented individually, but there are the kindest, lovingest, caringest people in the world. And so mostly I spent a lot of my time with Rebecca before Kelly and I started doing a storyline. I worked with Kirsten Storms. But there's many others that I was fortunate to work with, others than Jeannie Francis or Laura Wright, Tamara Braun, Alicia. I mean, it was just like, oh my God. I mean, it's been years since I've been on the program. So, I mean, 09. So I mean, they're all great. I don't care. They're all thumbs up to me. They get a 5-star.
And I ain't gonna lie. So you was one of my favorite actors, one of my favorite soap guy questions that I love to this day.
Thank you so much, man. You be safe. Take care of your family. Give them everybody our love. Be safe.
Thanks, Jacarius. And I think we'll take a couple more because it is Friday night, and we want to thank Greg so much for all this extra time he's given us. But we'll take a couple more.
For sure. Love everybody that's gotten here. I wish I could speak to each and every one of you. That's why I'm coming out on tour. So if we come to your city, wherever you are, please come and see us. If you need to find out, just Coastal Entertainment, Star Image. I mean, we're coming to Cleveland. We're coming. I mean, there's many cities: Chicago, Boston, New York, Jersey, Long Island. We're trying to get down to Virginia, North Carolina, Florida,
Michigan,
Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee. I mean, we're trying to get to the West Coast too. So don't think that we're not forgetting about anybody. But there's so many cities that I want to hit. I said 50 for 50. That's what I wanted. So it could take 2 years, 3 years to get it all done, but it will be one hell of a party. I'm telling you.
That is awesome. Chris.
Who's it? Chris.
Question.
Hello. Hi. Well, it's great to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
And are you going to come to Michigan on that tour? Because
I
that would
love
be nice.
Michigan. Detroit. I had the great fortune of coming up to Detroit a few years ago. Got good friends up there, and I got a lot of Greeks. And I will come up to that way when it's nice and warm and not cold. That is a fact.
Well, you're going to have to wait until next summer because, yeah, good luck with that. But I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So you said you liked working with Sam and Elizabeth. If you had to choose which one to work with again, who would you choose and why?
Wow. Oh, that's tough. I mean, you got two incredibly talented. I cannot even answer that because I would be fortunate to work with either one of them. I wouldn't care if you said, "Hey, your storyline's going this way," I'll jump in it. If you want to go this direction, I'm lucky either way. I love you. They're phenomenal. They are special, and they're still in my life, and I love them dearly. I can't pick one.
It'd be time for a dual role. One can work with one, and one can work with the other.
If I had a twin, if I ever came back as Lucky and then played twins, then I could accomplish both. But until that day, I don't see that happening.
I have another question before we get doing this. But let's say you were able to be paired up with somebody that you really never had a chance to work with before. Who would you choose on GH?
Chris, you snuck that in. We didn't want to keep Greg all night, so.
But I'll mute myself then.
Everybody would be great. I wouldn't care. I would not care. I don't have a preference. I don't know. They have a new plethora of talent on that show. I don't know everybody, but I'm
Jimmy
sure I would be great.
I'm on with Greg Vaughan.
Hey, I don't know what happened there, but who is that?
Someone was mic'd. Hi, I think we've got time for one more. Lori McDonald.
Hi, Miss Lori.
And I think you are unmuted.
Lori, we could do this. Let's do this. You are on the spotlight. Do you like being on camera? You have got front and center.
I didn't have it muted and I yelled at my daughter. Did it come through?
Stop yelling. That's what my kids tell me all the time. Well, do what you're told to do.
I'm okay. Okay, I won't yell. You're not in trouble anymore. Okay. Greg Vaughan says so. Okay, so I met you in Glendale. I don't know if you remember.
I've had a lot of time in Glendale.
We had it was a fun night. It was right after Trump was elected, and we were talking about Ushi and
I don't
Ari.
I talk about
kind of
Arya a lot,
the
whether it's
little
good or bad.
scandal that was going on. But anyway, I'm on with Greg Vaughan. Will you
Okay, Miss
stop?
Lori, let's get this question out. What is it
I
that I
know.
can
Go
answer for you?
away.
Just let her
Okay,
sit in and let's
was
go.
wondering what it's like to work with Ralph Waite when you worked with him, as the priest.
That was an honor. Ralph Waite was, I mean, he is an incredible man, an incredible, just, I mean, from the Waltons and stuff, for those that don't know who Ralph Waite is. He himself was a little bit in just trying to figure out his role and playing kind of a mentor, senior pastor to me was great. And just, it's like, Ralph Waite was like Dick Van Dyke, even though Dick Van Dyke, because he was my childhood hero, you know, watching all those movies, you know, getting to meet him. Ralph was great. He was a near and dear individual that I had the great fortune of spending time with on the screen. Just another check in the box of heroes in our life, my childhood memories, you know, and then, I mean, I've been fortunate to work with some really, really, really incredible leading men, past and present. So Dick Van Dyke, I went to work and I heard his voice and I looked on the TV and then I didn't see his face and they were rehearsing and I looked around and I heard that voice again and I'm like, I know that voice. And he turned around and I ran upstairs. I was the first one on the set. I disrupted their entire rehearsal because I had to introduce myself to my childhood hero and he took the time out and embraced me and I was flabbergasted. I broke.
I bet. I felt that way about him too. I mean,
I thought you were going to say you felt that way about me, but that didn't happen.
Well, no, you too, of course. No, listen, remember your app that you had that you.
Oh, that was many moons ago. That was like a whole nother generation.
I was the runner-up, by the way.
Oh, wow. That was a long time ago. Well, here you are now. We live in
know.
the present.
And you were like, many more, don't worry, you lost, but many more to come. And I'm like, now you left the app. But there was a lot of crazy people on there.
Well, it was crazy, which is why I'm not a part of the crazy. I can't do crazy.
Listen, Greg, I think we have two more who've been patiently waiting. And if I get those names, and then we are going to let everyone get on to their Friday night.
Yay.
All righty. Loretta.
Loretta, did she unmute? Please
Loretta,
tell me.
Change set.
Loretta, we're waiting for you, girl. I'm going to have.
Yep, you're there. You're so close. I see the finger going there. And you're going to touch that mute button. Loretta, just press the mute button.
Let me see that mute button. It's the big microphone on your screen. It's not working.
Can you see the chat? Can you ask your question there in the chat?
There's a chance she's not connected to audio too, which could be not allowing her to unmute. So.
There you go. The Wi-Fi.
Candace, would you be ready to ask your question while Loretta, do you want to put yours in the chat?
I sure would. Miss Loretta, I put it in the chat for you just to hit unmute one time. Tap that button one time. I'm really doing tech work like I do all day at work.
Technology.
But I just wanted her to get her question in too, because I know she's been waiting for a while. So while she's doing that, hi Greg, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Hey.
Hey. Okay, so first and foremost,
love your hair.
I know. Thank you. I try to look I'm good for you. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm looking good for you.
You just show up.
Well, that's like it. So first and foremost, thank you for this time when you could be cooking and cooking that seafood that I saw a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, and I wanted that too. So anyway, but I also wanted to ask you real quick. I interviewed you a couple of months ago on Take Two Radio, and I asked the question of if you could pick a song that could describe your life, what would it be and why? At that time, at that time, you did not give me an answer. You just was like, so now we're here. Do you have a song to describe your life?
I can't pinpoint it on one thing because I listen to so much music. It takes me on a journey for many different reasons. Wherever I'm mentally at, I am taking my brother that nobody can repeat. I'm telling you first, nobody knows.
We won't say nothing.
And not many people will probably applaud it. But look, my brother celebrated his birthday in August, and I'm taking him, well, we're on August, but he just celebrated it, and I'm taking him to Metallica. Okay. A lot of people won't get it, but in 1991, I saw Use Your Illusion tour for the first time with GNR, Guns N' Roses, and Faith No More. And I have a connection, and I'm going to see at AT&T Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium, to watch them. I love it. But I listen to old school. I listen to new school. My kids love J. Cole. We rock it out with Jay. We listen to all genre. I was in Harry Connick Jr. videos. I love Harry Connick. I listen to Frank Sinatra, I listen to swing. I listen to old country. I listen to new country. I listen to pop country. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. There's certain things that I love, and there's certain I'm listening to Cole Whitzel right now. I'm listening to For Those That Want to Know. Like some of my playlist, I've got Cole Whitzel, which is an incredible artist. Pecos and Rooftops. I love them. They're an East Texas band. I'm always looking for new artists. I just think music is such a gift and such an art. And I wish I could have had some small ability to be a musician in my life, because I've been on the stages with some great people. I've got to meet Jason Aldean. I've got to meet Carrie Underwood. I met Garth Brooks. I love country, but I love rock. And I just if I'm working out, I can't really, I'll go back. What really let me leave home way after my mom had that talk, Garth Brooks did a Billy Joel song remake. It was about the vessel and down the river. That is a really big, when I hear that song, it really resonates with me. Or Leonard Skinner, Be a Free Bird. And that's one of the reasons why I have a big bird on my back as a tattoo, but also reflects my family heritage. So it kind of, meshes two things. So there is a whole plethora of music in what I play in my daily list. Hall & Oates to, gosh, Marvin Gaye. I listen to, when Tina, Lady Tina, I rocked my house. The boys were going crazy. Like, what am I doing? I'm like, the godmother. I love Aretha, but Tina, for me, MJ, the one and only, the king of pop, was my first concert. He, in 1986, was my first, I saw the Bad Tour. He was the man. That was like, when I speak of music, I just have, from Stevie Ray Vaughan, who is my third cousin. It goes family. I didn't get any of that. So I just love music, and I talk to a lot of friends and my musician friends, that I have great conversations with. Ted King, who was on General Hospital's Alcazar with me. He and I have a love of music. He is a professor of music. The guy has much knowledge. But I like just a lot of old, God, there were so many bands from Mississippi that I got to meet when I was in Mississippi, in Oxford, Mississippi. I can't even think about, I mean, God, there's so much. I could go on and on and on. I mean, I can't hit it on one. I have moments that really hit me and resonate, but I love when I hear a song and it just touches me in a way and it hits a chord. I can replay a song 1,000 times and I'm never tired of it. So I know it's not the answer, but I love music. And I mean, I was fortunate down in New Orleans. I went to the Jazz Fest. I mean, I saw Joe Cocker. I got to see Dr. Phil. I got to see, Clark Jr., Gary Clark Jr. I mean, Jeff Bridges. I mean, I've seen so many people I love from all ranges. So there is not one genre of music that Prince, come on, who can't?
I love those musical choices and influences, Greg. It's absolutely amazing. I want to thank you so much. Loretta, could you at least maybe just blow Greg a kiss? Yeah.
Michael,
all right.
I was able to get a message from Loretta, and she
great.
said, very sorry she's unable to chat. She just wanted Greg to know that he is loved, and she prayed for his mom, Barbara, when she was in the hospital. So much for now, just say thank you for being who you are. That's from Loretta.
Loretta, thank you for your thoughts, your prayers. You're just taking the time out, not just tonight, but for my mom when she went through her visit in the hospital. But she is managing. She is taking day to day. We just, my brother picked her up today, took her out to the lake. She is with my youngest and his daughter, my niece. They're fishing, watching a beautiful sunset about right now. So she is in her happy place. She is the reason why we exist and why we are the men that she brought into this world. So
that's beautiful. And Loretta, thank you for your great question. Greg, thank you so much for giving so much of your time for us at Soap Hub and all the people that came to see you tonight. I've gotten to learn so much about you tonight. I'm really looking forward to what's coming next on the show.
We didn't even talk about all that stuff.
Hey, listen, it's
but as Soap Digest said, it's fireworks. So you know.
Well, we can't wait to see what happens next, and I'm hoping that we do. A lot of us do gather together in the fall for Day of Days, and I know the 60th is coming up, so there's going to be a lot of fun times ahead.
Yes, there is.
Cannot thank you enough. Listen, you have a great night, a great weekend.
Let's ask everyone. We'll unmute so everybody can give their cheers and say thank you.
Love you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Oh.
Love you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
Greg. Love you so much, Greg.
Love you. I wish I could see you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Y'all be safe. Y'all take care.
Michelle.